know if you can hear this in my headset, but like, listen to the crowd.
Yo, the crowd is not happy. Hungrybox says, what are you gonna do?
I just don't like what he does to the scene. It's more like that, right? Like, I don't like him. I don't know if he doesn't like me.
I never thought it would get to that point, and I didn't realize that being how I was, and then also playing Jigglypuff, and then also playing defensively, it's like all these things that are like red flags for not having a fandom, right?
Hey! Who the f threw this? Who threw this at me?
They started talking about work things, and I remember I couldn't hear anything. Like the words were going in one ear and out the other, and I got teary-eyed. And they said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Put yourself in my shoes for a second. What the hell do I do right now?"
I think he has like this armor of, oh, I'm the best, right? Like that's the armor. If underneath what you're afraid of is not being good enough, you put up this ego.
It gives you affirmation in your own self. You look at your hands after you won, you look at the lights and sounds, and you said like, man, I really dreamed about this, and I put all my energy and time into doing it, and I finally made it.
It's a back air, this is big. He recovers.
Oh, the tournament winner!
Press the score on the gray stick, and that's the end of EVO 2016.
Juan Hungrybox DeBiedma had the passion to turn Super Smash Bros. Melee into a way of life. Since his breakout in 2009, Hungrybox was one of the most successful and most polarizing players in Melee, partially because of his intense attitude. It probably didn't help that his character of choice, Jigglypuff, was best played as a slow, defensive wall of death, something which most Melee fans hated.
Being my very first tournament win out of state in Georgia, even then, people already didn't want me to win. I was like, is this really happening? Florida was cheering against me.
You play a very, very defensive, campy play style that I'm not really a big fan of. That's not how I like to play the game or how I like to see the game being played.
I don't know if you can hear this in my headset, but like, listen to the crowd.
Yo, the crowd is not happy. Hungrybox says, what are you gonna do?
But despite all that, Hungrybox became one of the best Melee players ever, and importantly, one of the most clutch.
That could be it.
To reset the bracket,
The reset.
reads the double jump, waits out the air dodge, and Armano, he's gonna play one more set.
Melee was life, sure, but hopes and dreams don't pay the bills. And Melee didn't pay the bills either. So while he was one of the 5 gods of Melee, Hungrybox, who had earned a degree in chemical engineering, was also holding down a 9-to-5 at one of the largest packaging companies in the United States. That's right, Hungrybox was working for a company that made cardboard packaging when he achieved rank 1 and won EVO 2016.
It's a back air, this is big. He recovers.
Oh, the tournament winner!
Press the score on the gray stick, and that's the end of EVO 2016.
It gives you affirmation in your own self. You look at your hands after you won, you look at the lights and sounds, and you said like, man, I really dreamed about this. I really envisioned this being what happens to me, and I put all my energy and time into doing it, and I finally made it.
But even at the peak of his career so far, Hungrybox still had his feet planted in 2 different worlds.
I was in a meeting with my bosses. I said, can I have flexibility for Summit? And they said, you have to pick either Big House 6 or Summit. You can't go to both. And I said, okay, I'll go to Big House. They're like, okay, we'll do this. We kept talking. And then they started talking about work things. And I remember I couldn't hear anything. Like the words were going in one ear and out the other. And I got teary-eyed. And they said, what's the matter? And I said, put yourself in my shoes for a second. What the hell do I do right now? Why is this the right choice if it's not letting me do what I love?
Okay, so lots of esports pros are obviously full-time in their game of choice, but it's not really the case in Melee, is it?
Well, it's not like Melee is League of Legends, right? It's not backed by this massive company.
Yeah, they don't really have the support of Nintendo. I mean, didn't they try to get it pulled from EVO once?
Yeah, in 2013, and Melee pulled through. But it's stuff like that that makes companies not want to invest heavily into Smash.
I seem to have this memory in my head, though, of Hungrybox when he won EVO 2016 wearing the Team Liquid jersey.
Yeah, he was on Team Liquid, but he was also working a full-time normal day job. Whatever salary he was getting from TL back then wasn't really able to offset the fact that the prize money in Smash wasn't really good enough to live off of.
Right, I mean, Smash tournaments don't exactly have $1 million prize pools.
Exactly. Like when Hungrybox won EVO 2016, he got 14 grand. Armada, who came in second, only got $4,000. And those numbers were insanely high for the time.
And then I guess on top of that, you have to worry about Nintendo just kind of pulling the plug on the whole thing at any moment, right? It doesn't really encourage you to go full time in this. What was different with Hungrybox? What pushed him over the edge?
Well, his bosses gave him that choice, right? And he chose to go to Big House. But a frustrating finish to that tournament made him realize that it was time for a change.
Hungrybox's decision to break out on his own was a big leap into the unknown. But at first, it seemed to have paid off.
And that's a rest, and that is it. Hungrybox is your CEO 2017 champion. Well done to him after a tight reset in the grand finals.
Oh my god, dude, that was point space. Okay, you can. Oh, that's it.
Oh,
and that's it.
and the first
up
throw DI, he misses.
Oh my god.
H-Box gets it. That might. Oh,
and
yeah.
Hungrybox.
And Hungrybox closes it out.
But that didn't mean that Hungrybox was suddenly winning hearts.
It's an undeniable fact that it's just Jigglypuff is a character that a lot of people think is the antithesis of how Melee should be played. So no matter what, just being like a top Jigglypuff player, like when you're winning, it's just gonna by default paint you in a negative light. Like I don't like watching you play, so therefore I associate that with not liking you.
He was trying to stay focused on the game, but that kept getting harder and harder. And the bright burning of Hungrybox's results cast a shadow in the background. In August 2017, Hungrybox and his longtime girlfriend broke up. It put him in a dark place, and his presence on social media and the public nature of the relationship made escaping the topic difficult. So Hungrybox is in a bad place. He's not feeling good about his relationship with the game, with the scene in general. What does he do next?
He goes back to work.
Right.
Yeah, seriously. He was trying to find himself, right? And the last time he truly felt like himself was when he was working. So he went back to having a full-time job while still playing Smash for Team Liquid.
Okay, but just to be clear, this wasn't about the money.
It didn't seem that way. Like, Hungrybox was never going to become a millionaire playing Smash, but prizing was improving, and Hungrybox was doing really well. It really seemed like this was about the community.
So the community hated him for playing Jigglypuff, is that right?
It's complicated. Like, Hungrybox's haters started disliking him because they didn't like the way that he played Jigglypuff. They said that he was lame and boring and that the way he played was gonna make people want to stop watching Melee. But eventually, that morphed into a hatred of Hungrybox himself.
Hungrybox won Grand Finals at DreamHack Austin by taking Chudat to time in Game 5, and the crowd was not pleased.
He won't even be able to kill him fast enough. If he gets wobbled now, H-Box can stand there and take a wobble and then sit on the little platform.
Second place for Chudat again.
It's unwinnable, right? It's literally unwinnable.
As much as things change, they stay the same.
H-Box, he knows he doesn't want to have to play like that, but
he got him.
Then at EVO 2017, Hungrybox got wrapped up in a coaching controversy that resulted in community backlash.
I thought coaching was banned in semifinals. I'm pretty confident that it's actually not allowed in semifinals.
The rules say you can't coach past pools. That's it. That was my honest mistake. It was what I thought they defined pools as quarters. That's what last year's rule was, and it was legal last year in pools, and it was just like, but now everyone thinks I'm like a cheater, everyone thinks I'm like this piece of shit. Like, no, it's an honest mistake.
And of course, Hungrybox was still the same loud, arrogant character he always played, which continued to upset people, including his fellow competitors.
I just don't like what he does to the scene. It's more like that, right? Like, I don't like him. I don't know if he doesn't like me. He's an amazing player, obviously. I would be lying if I, didn't really want to beat his ass.
How old is he? Like 22, 21? I don't know. Maybe in 2 years understand that sometimes talking shit and then getting destroyed for the 15th time in a row might be the reason you played badly.
Hungrybox and Leffen ended up in an intense rivalry, mostly marked by trash talk on Twitter or in interviews, but things only got worse when fans started siding against him. The community sentiment around Hungrybox got so toxic he was even harassed in public. And yet, amidst all of this, Hungrybox was unstoppable.
Oh my
Still
God,
alive.
Nichols, that's
Still
probably
alive.
one more chance.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Randall.
Probably, yeah.
Oh man, and that'll do it.
Hungrybox. Oh my God.
Okay, you can still
Oh
make
my-
it though. He's
Oh,
got Randall.
Randall, no, it's not
That's
enough.
gonna do it. Yep.
That's just it's too much, dude.
Yeah. Oh man.
Too much to deal with on the recovery.
Another tournament winner. Plup's just hitting so many like buttons and
Yes.
just not regain his composure. Wow, that was
Ooh,
bad.
that was crazy, yeah.
To the point where I don't even know if that.
And he gets him. Yeah, that's gonna be it, H-Box.
He earned the coveted top ranking on the PGR in April 2018, revealing to the public that he had returned to work. While he didn't manage to win EVO in 2018, Hungrybox kept racking up trophies.
Off the top.
Hungrybox. Dude, he's so scary when he comes down off the invincibility cloud, dude.
And while he had made a bevy of personal changes in his own life, it seemed like the Smash community had changed too. They'd realized that Hungrybox wasn't just gonna go away, even if not everyone was a fan. So after winning his 4th CEO in July 2019, Hungrybox had a surprise. After nearly a year and a half at his job, it was time to go full-time again. Okay, so what made it a reasonable decision then, at this point, for Hungrybox to go full-time?
From the outside looking in, not much, honestly. Like, Melee prize pools still weren't that great. It was hard to make a living unless you were streaming a ton on top of playing the game.
What about Hungrybox himself?
Well, that's the thing. Hungrybox's love for Melee was real, and he was streaming a ton, which probably helped with the whole money thing, but also it gave him a fan base.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how it's good to have fans in your corner, supporting you. I get that. But is that really all it takes? Just a few people chanting your name?
I mean, I think it helped him put away the whole heel thing, right? Like, he had earned the respect of most of his haters by just being better than almost everyone. He was earning enough money to keep him comfortable, and it feels like he had earned the ability to go full-time in Melee.
Yeah, because it made him realize he could enjoy himself while playing the game again. I mean, that makes sense.
And the craziest thing is that the next time his haters came for him, the community rose up to defend Hungrybox. And that's when we knew that everything had changed.
As Hungrybox was just sitting there after his win at Pound 2019, not charging the crowd, not kicking a chair, someone chucked a crab at him.
Who the threw this? Who threw this at me? Off, dude. You. Why would you throw something? Right in my face. You know how hard I work on here?
And sure, maybe it's impossible to know for certain, but the Hungrybox who was earning boos in 2017 probably would not have gotten the same kind of widespread sympathy for an incident like that. Part of it was probably the new Hungrybox, but also people knew that Hungrybox better than ever. Far from being the annoying Jigglypuff player who popped off far too hard, Juan was putting himself out there in the community, and a big part of that were his streams.
That cake smells funny. I got you, Mom. Mom, I got you. I got. I finally found my comfort spot for content, and it's this. It's doing tournament runs, and it's also casting and being as excited about this game as I am and showing it to the world, and hopefully making sure they're that excited too.
Whether he was just shooting the shit, giving his take on the latest tier list, or hosting an online tournament, Hungrybox's streams gave people a close-up look at the passionate Puff main.
Yes!
There was maybe one last factor too. Even through the pandemic and beyond, Hungrybox was one of the last gods who was still competing seriously.
This is the last stock here for Cobalt, and that's it. Is it? Yeah. Yes. All right. HBox, once again, reclaiming his throne.
He had over a decade of competitive success under his belt, and at this point was essentially a member of the old guard. But his continued devotion to Smash also paid off personally. In 2021, Hungrybox was invited to become a part owner of Team Liquid.
I think Steve was willing to give myself and of course the other couple of athletes that were able to have the opportunity. He really wanted to showcase the opportunity for growth of players within the org, but he also wanted us to be, I think, bigger parts because he knew of our experience and he knew the input that we had was kind of invaluable to the scenes in which we represent.
Look, you don't always have to get things right in life the first time, or even the second time for that matter. Hungrybox had a lot to prove, and it's obvious that he rubbed people the wrong way sometimes, but through his own journey, he was able, finally, to show people what he was about, and what Melee meant to him. It took some work, it didn't happen overnight, but it was worth it.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.